Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. This is part 2 of Lesbian Chronicles, the Catfish story. So in this video, we are going to go into January of 2013, how the relationship is going and what is going on. There's a little bit of miscommunication on what we actually were at that time. So it was a lot of back and forth between the two of us. So we're going to talk about through my birthday, which is February 1st, should be a national holiday, and then into Sweet Heat into April. So we're going to go into the beginning of the year and talk about how things kind of got a little crazy, because they were already crazy up until this point with all the stories and the reasons why she couldn't come for this and couldn't come for that, and the different ways that she was making up, different stories that she was making up to keep from coming to meet me or me coming to meet her. So this is Lesbian Dating Chronicles Part 2, the Catfish story. I do want you to do me a favor while you're watching this. Click the subscribe button and also the notification button, and it will update you when I upload a new video. So I do want to thank you all for tuning in, and here goes part 2. Okay, y'all. So we are in part 2 of the Catfish story. We're going to start off in January of 2013. Of course, in previous video, part 1, I talked about all the way up until December when she repeatedly stood me up. January comes around and I'm frustrated. And so we had some phone conversations that got pretty heated because I was just really annoyed with, the stories and the lies at this point. And now I'm really starting to be irritated by the fact that she's making up all of these different excuses as to why she cannot video chat with me. So she apparently had this really good job. She lived in Atlanta before she had moved down here to Atlanta, lived here for a while, she said that she had her own FedEx truck. So she was working for FedEx as a contractor. This is what she's telling me. She was a contractor, so she had made all of this money working for FedEx and decided that she was going to move back to Connecticut. She just wasn't, feeling Atlanta anymore. And so she said right before her and I started talking is when she had moved back to Connecticut. So she apparently had a huge amount of money in the bank that she was just sitting on because she wanted to buy a house and she wasn't sure, what she was going to do at this time. So, she was, portrayed her to be this, like she was balling basically. And I'm not like a money hungry type of person. So that doesn't impress me at all. I'm just like, okay, you can take care of yourself. That's all that matters to me, is that you can handle your own business. But she would always make it seem as if, she just had all this money accessible to her. And then she had this really decent paying job at the time, where she was making really good money again. And, so there was no reason why you can't video chat with me on your cell phone. Right. And, this was back when Uvu was, the preferred video chat. So you can't video chat with me on your cell phone, and you can't video chat with me on your computer because your camera doesn't work on your computer, but you make all this money. It started to, like, at this point by January, I'm like, okay, I'm starting to get really annoyed with the foolishness that keeps coming from her. But it was like, and I'm gonna post this email that kind of breaks down how I was feeling, because it was the back and forth. Like, we would separate. So we would, have these little spats, and we would stop talking to each other. And it may last like a day or, maybe 2 days or something like that. And so this particular email just kind of breaks down how I was feeling, because it was just, every time we would stop talking to each other, she would lure me back in. She would pull me back in. She'd send me a text message, I miss you and I love you, and I want to talk to you, like, so and so happened today, and I you're the only person I wanted to tell this to. And it would be that type of situation. So it was like I never had the opportunity to just walk away from it. I mean, I did, but it was hard. It was like that connection that, you know, we when you needed somebody to lean on, she was there. I was neglecting all people in my circle to communicate with her. And I finally had to be like, you know what, let me go out and have fun and enjoy myself, because clearly this person is not really serious about, about seeing me. I mean, at this point, she had stood me up at least 5 times. I was embarrassed. All my friends knew about her because I was literally on the phone with her 24/7. I was definitely neglecting them. So, January is all the same. Except now, I'm starting to talk to other people. So now, I'm like starting to entertain other girls, because I'm like, she's just not being serious with me. She's not taking me serious. She's not video chatting with me. She keeps finding reasons to be mad at me and kick me to the curb. And then, we stop talking for a day or 2 days, and then we're back at the same thing. So, January was the same up and down roller coaster type nonsense that it had been previously. Now we're rolling into February. And up to leading up to February, my birthday is February 1st. So it is the only holiday I celebrate, you know, during the year, except for, my kids' birthdays. But, my birthday is the thing. I don't celebrate Christmas or, the other stuff. I prefer to be at home on New Year. Like, I'm just not that type of, party person. Or, I definitely don't celebrate their Independence Day. Like, maybe Juneteenth. I do Juneteenth, but the rest of that stuff I just can't. So I'm particular about my birthday. I try to do something with my friends every year, you know, bring all of us together and hang out and have a good time. And this particular year was no different. So I'm gonna post some pictures from my little February 1st birthday celebration for 2013. Now, up until that point, we had talked about my birthday, and she had ample opportunity to take time off from work, right? So I didn't get into what she does, right? She worked for Frito-Lay or something of that nature, where she delivered the chips to the grocery stores and the gas stations and the convenience stores. So if you ever go into the store and you see those person putting the chips on the aisle, they don't actually work for the grocery store or the store that they're in. They actually work for the chip company or whatever. And so they just go in and put the chips on the fill the chips back up, right? So we would be talking on the phone. I'm at work, and she's at work, and I can hear the bag. You can hear it. The bags going, and what I'm saying, and we'd be talking, and then people would walk up to her and be like, "Do you know where so and so?" She's like, "I don't work here, ma'am." Like, that would happen all the time. So I believe that was really her job, because I could hear the chip bags, and I didn't, it was like, it added up that's probably what she did. So she knew that my birthday was like a big deal, and that I really wanted her to come here. Now, initially, I was going to fly up there, and then we changed it for her to come here. So it was like we were going back and forth, and I'm like, okay, well, you got plenty of time. This is a couple of weeks, at least 3 weeks for you to take the time off work. So it gets down to my birthday coming, and she's like, my birthday either is on the weekend of Super Bowl, on the day, it's usually around the Super Bowl, right? Busy time of the freaking year. And I'm like, okay, so you're going to take the time off? She's like, I can't take the time off because everyone has to work because it's Super Bowl weekend and it's going to be really busy. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm scratching my head like, that doesn't make any sense because, you know what I'm saying? You're not filling up the chips. Like, I don't know. It just didn't, in my mind, I'm just like, that makes no sense, especially if you request it off, way in advance, like, so that's your newest excuse is that you can't come because you have to make sure that there's chips because it's Super Bowl weekend and everybody eats chips for Super Bowl. I was just mind blown at this point. Like, that was a I couldn't even give that excuse, you know. That was like a 2 out of 10 for tries. So, I'm like, "Okay, cool. You can't come here. I'll come there." So I'm like, I started looking at tickets. Like, okay, I'm gonna fly up there. Like, it's all good. I can take the time off. I don't have to be here. I can always have my birthday celebration a week later. I just want to be with you on my birthday. So, of course, there's always a newest and greatest excuse for why this could not happen. So she's like, "Oh, you know, you can't come up here because you'll be stuck in the house while I'm working." I'm like, "Okay, that's fine. I can be in the crib. I don't need to go anywhere. When you get off work, you can come home. We can hang out. Like, we don't even have to do anything for my birthday." She's like, "No, no, no. I just don't think, that would be a good idea. It just wouldn't be." And so then, of course, what happens? She picks a fight with me, right? So that we don't have to talk about it anymore. So now she's found a reason to be mad at me and she's not talking to me. And so that particular Friday, the Friday before, I think my birthday was either on that Friday. I can't remember. I'd have to like look at it. She sends me an edible arrangement for my at work. She had asked me for my work address, so she sent me an edible arrangement, and I'm just like, you can't be serious. Like, this is your idea of making things better with me is to send me an edible arrangement. So I'm like, forget it. I go have my little birthday celebration, whatever, and of course she's not here. So March, end of February into March because my birthday is the 1st of February. So going into through the rest of February, of course, we made up again, and now she's talking about come moving back to Atlanta and buying a house. And she really wants to come back down here. She misses being down here. And so she's sending me emails of houses that she's looking at and furniture that she's gonna buy and all of, like, I mean, really feeding me into this nonsense, right? And so I'm like, okay, so I'm sending her things that I'm seeing, and options or whatever. I'm just going to screenshot or post the screenshots of the emails back, that she sent, not the whole body of them, just, but she's like sending me stuff. And then now, Sweet Heat is approaching, and my friends are talking about going to Sweet Heat, which I don't know if you know what Sweet Heat is, but Sweet Heat is like this super gay celebration in Miami every year. And they have like all these different parties and different events, and the the black, lesbian, gay community swarms down to Miami for this rambunctious, crazy, wild weekend of anything type situation goes. And I had never been, so I was like, you know, hell, I'm gonna go to Sweet Heat with my friends. And she was like, yeah, I'm gonna come down there. And she's like sending me the emails of the clothes that she's looking at, and the outfits that she's thinking about, and what she's gonna wear for the white party. And I'm sending her options for what I'm gonna wear to the white party. Mind you, I ended up not wearing that, buying any of those things. I'm gonna post a picture of what I had on at the white party. Actually, I'm going to post pictures of my whole time, a little video of me um, from Sweet Heat. But so we're talking about it, and she's all excited, and yeah, I'm gonna drive my she claims she has a motorcycle. She has two cars, so she had an SUV and a car and a motorcycle. Remember I told you previously that she made all this money when she was working with FedEx, so she was balling, right? This is what she's saying. So she's gonna drive down to Charlotte. Now, remember I told you in the first video that she flew to Charlotte and her friends drove her back to Connecticut when she tried to come see me during Hurricane Sandy. All right. So she's going to drive to Charlotte and pick up her friends. They were a couple. And mind you, remember that they're a couple. All right. They're going to drive from Charlotte down to Miami because she wanted to pull her motorcycle. She wanted to be able to ride her motorcycle while she was in Miami. So I'm like, all right, that sounds cool. She was supposed to leave on that Wednesday to drive to Charlotte, and then they were going to leave Thursday morning to drive down to Miami. And of course, I was flying down, meeting my friends down there. So I had sent her the picture of, where we were staying, the link for where we were staying. And so, my itinerary, what we were doing, and, all of this stuff. So of course, the Wednesday, she hits me up and says, I'm in Charlotte, but I'm not going to be able to come to Miami. And I'm like, why not? What's wrong now? So she says, my friends broke up and they're not together anymore. So they decided collectively not to come to Miami. So I wouldn't have anybody to ride with me to come down there or hang out with. Now, mind you, we had a nice ass like condo type situation right off the beach. We could, see the water from, it's kind of diagonal from, but it was nice. And it had a huge patio. We had a lot of room. And I was like, you can still come down here and you can just stay with us, because we had it was a whole bunch of us. I don't even remember how many of us it was, but it was a lot of us. So I'm like, you can come just hang out with us. Like, just come. No, I'd have to make this drive by myself. I'm just going to turn around. I'm going to stay here for a day or two, and I'm going to drive back to Connecticut. So the sheer disappointment, my friends felt so bad for me because I had been talking about her the whole time. Like, she's coming, finally we get to meet, we're going to hang out, and just the complete and utter disappointment. It was really heartbreaking for me because I'm like, I keep believing you and you keep feeding me all of this, these lies, and it was so frustrating to me to be talking to her and feel, and she kept making me feel as if being with me was her priority, that us being together was a priority for her, and us seeing each other was a priority. But none of her actions were, it was like she would give me just enough to keep me, and then she would disappoint me again. And then she would, suck me back in again and do just enough to keep me and then disappoint me again. It was like the continuous pattern of, these damn Gemini, boy, I tell you, I cannot do another one of them if it ain't the same thing over and over again. Something wrong with them, except for my daughter. No, something wrong with my daughter too. But I just, something about them that I have got to stay away from them, because they're just not, they're not meant for me. And I don't want to say that they're bad people. I just think that my personality and the way that I love and and feel for people does not mesh well with who they are as people. And I just need to stay away from that. And as soon as that somebody tells me that they're Gemini, I need to run the other direction. Like, no, thank you. Um, and I hate to be that about Gemini, but y'all, I don't know any other way to explain it. Like, I don't. It just baffles me. So we get into at the end of April, sweet heat, whatever. She also picks another fight with me in April. And she actually picked a fight with me before we were supposed to go to Sweet Heat. So she picked a fight with me then, and then pulled me back in, then picked another fight with me after Sweet Heat, and into May. So yeah, so May comes, and we're gonna stop right there with May. And thank you for checking out part 2 of the Catfish story. Please do me a favor and please subscribe to my page. Click the notification button. It will notify you the next time I upload part 3 of the Catfish story. I do want to thank you for tuning in again, and have a great one.